y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is a collective convo, and today we're going to explicitly talk about the process of breaking cycles. I'm sorry I haven't done this before, I talk about it all the time, but something came up in the collective reading this morning that made me realize that there's actually a process to this, and we should talk about it. So, Mr. Hootie's right here, you can see his little ears. We're not using cards for this, it's just a collective convo. I am making breakfast, so I only have a limited amount of time. Tiny's awake, but he's on his tablet, totally in a different realm. Okay, so we've talked about, we have playlists for breaking cycles in varying ways and whatnot. To me, breaking cycles is about just not repeating bullshit, quite frankly. And for folks who are white, people who have colonial lineage, in any capacity, so you don't have to be fully white, but if you've got colonial lineage, catch what I'm putting down, right? Of course he's going crazy. Everyone's going crazy. So breaking cycles is, the first part is to recognize the pattern that there's an imbalance, right? So I've broken a lot of ancestral things, but I've set out on this path for a good 20 years to be intentional about my own consciousness, about my own humanity, my decolonizing. And I've been met with, if you don't know, if this is the first time you're seeing me, hi. I've been met with, force, incarceration, control, obedience, from my family in particular. Friends as well have thrown me under the bus many times, in cahoots with my family. My mother it's become abundantly clear in the past year or two. I'm no contact with my mother. She was the last person in my family I was talking to. You know that saying, keep your friends close but your enemies closer? I was kind of doing that. I was just peeping some shit, making, notes, observing, not absorbing. But sometimes when we are surrounded by a bunch of people who want to continue doing the same thing, holding tradition or, passing down traumas or whatnot, some of us are the black sheeps and we're like, you know what, it ends with me. If you are that person, both within your family or, within society, I'm the only single mother in my family, my entire family, extended and everything. Things like that. I'm the only one that's been incarcerated in my family. Up until this point, my family has done lots of illegal things, and I feel like they're going to get their karma. But at this point in time, I'm the only one that's been locked up. I'm the only one that, has followed a path, a less traditional path, things like that. So, those are all cycles, but within all of those, there's different rungs to it, right? With my son, I'm only having one child because my biggest bully was my sibling, right? So that's another cycle. I'm not, first of all, we're not gonna be growing up in a fucking toxic patriarchal society household. Oh shit, I gotta go get my charger. Give me one sec. Be right back. To get you through? Niall's obsessed with Rice Krispie treats. We just discovered them last week. I don't really care if he starts his day with a Rice Krispie treat. It's cereal. We don't do cereal either, like other people. Another cycle. Hang on. Let me get him something to eat. We got a grocery pickup in a minute. Me a while. Not too long. Oh god, this hula hoop. Oh shit. So the process. Okay, so the thing that came up in this reading, I think I've given enough examples. You know what they are for you. Each person has their own. Why am I out of breath? Cycles, and shit to, alleviate. And within this process, it is about coming into consciousness. It's becoming aware of the pattern that you're trying to break in others and in yourself, recognizing when it's a projection or a reflection. We talk about this all the time. Hey, cry. But the thing that I really wanted to touch on was what I said in this reading earlier today, which was, you know, I've gotten to a point in my life where I will not allow anyone into my vicinity who is going to put me back into a space that I have already liberated myself and my lineage from. And that is the main point I want to make, that when you become so fucking dedicated to breaking cycles... What? Can you just go eat the Rice Krispie? Oh. I got you. We'll be back. Here. Okay. Just give me like a few minutes, everybody. Sorry, it's the first hour of everyone being awake. I've been awake. But I feel like this has to go for like if you're over here watching the What's Your Calling readings, which is like encouraging people to... Nova, don't start that bullshit. God, Nova's a bullshit starter. So fucking annoying, man. That spot is taken. Anyway, I got a bunch of cats. Which is another... Nova, that spot is taken. Hey! No. You can't just... You're a colonizer. You've got a colonized mindset and you need to stop. Boo is already up there. Yeah, you can have that spot. Thank you. You don't like being called a colonizer. Wow. Good boy. Anyway. When we get to this dedication to this point... I mean, it's a process, right? It's a process of integrating our shadow. It's a process of, again, recognizing the pattern, which I've said a million times because I'm completely distracted. It's a process of, you know, knowing better and also doing better. It's calling yourself out first and foremost on the things. It's observing the patterns and behaviors or mentalities in others, and when that feeling comes up, being like, why does that bother me? More than likely it's because it's something that you yourself have to deal with or, you know, face head on and integrate, right? Now, we're not bad people. I mean, some people are fucking horrible. But for the most part, I think a lot of us are just indoctrinated into these things. And it becomes like a subconscious way of being. And so when we come into consciousness, you know, working from a subconscious place of just doing things because that's the way they've been done, or, you know, you saw someone else do it, or it's what everyone else is doing, that hive mentality. I mean, you can't do that anymore. You know, once you become conscious of what is going on in the world around you and your aspect or the part that you play with that, and you want to do better, then you do. You dedicate yourself to that. And again, you're not going to let anything... I mean, you get to a certain point, right? It takes a while to get to this point, which is why I put all of this over here. Because for me, it's been this grueling, traumatizing fucking process. And I don't want it to be that way for others, because that doesn't... We don't need to be learning our lessons the hard way. We just need to be doing the work to come into consciousness, to call bullshit, let the people go who are holding us back, right? I often talk about these crabs in a barrel or a bucket. I use the word barrel, but a lot of people say bucket. But like, if a crab were to escape from the bucket, the other crabs are going to pull it down, right? It's also giving me the aliens from Toy Story, when they're in the first one, when they're in the claw machine. That hive mentality, right? Everybody, like, leeches on. And that's part of the process, too, is recognizing when people are doing that. When they're, you know, giving you backhanded compliments, or, you know, making fun of you, or reminding you of a time when you weren't who you are now. I mean, the whole point of life is to grow. And I think that was something, like, in my generation, we were always like, what's the point of life? And everyone's like, I don't know. It's like some great mystery. No. It's to grow and to change and to be better. I mean, it's to come into consciousness. The point of life is to learn from your mistakes, to change your behaviors when need be, to nourish your body and the planet and each other, and recognize that we're all alive, we're all worthy. I mean, that's the reason we're here. It's not some great mystery. It's not, to be entertained by dumb shit. It's to grow. So I hope this helps. When you're breaking cycles, initially it's very difficult, again, because you're around people who are more than likely resisting you growing. And I think that's the thing too. I've come to a place where I'm like, a lot of people talk about this in their path or in their spiritual journeys or their healing journeys, is like, strangers are going to be way more supportive than people close to you, regardless of what your relationship is, because there's an unconscious bias or comparison happening with them. And again, that's what a projection is. They're projecting on you where they are when you're growing. I'm thinking of that meme of the there's a really good meme that encapsulates this. Let me see if I can find it. This one. Thank you, Google. So it's this meme of these two people, and this one's saying, "You've changed," and then this one's like very blossomed, and it says, "We're supposed to." So look this up. I just looked it up on Google. I just put it in, "You've changed, we're supposed to" meme. But like, that's the thing. That's the process of coming into consciousness, right? Is you're gonna be, I say all the time, we're like the trees. The trees are growing always. And I feel like when we are encouraged to be disconnected from nature within this, global tyrannical society that gives zero fucks about anything, it's very powerful to recognize yourself as a part of nature and as a part of as a growing being, as an always changing being. And I say that all the time too, is within this process of breaking cycles, you can meet life as such, as a choose your own adventure. Understanding that change is the only constant is a very uncomfortable process initially, or idea initially. I remember when I was first met with that, and it was in the same season of my life that I was met with work, of doing internal work. When my idea of work was only like shitty 9-to-5s, then I was presented this emotional, mental, spiritual work, and it was a complete game changer. And with that partnered was this idea that change is constant. And I remember being so uncomfortable with those ideas. So if that feels like, if you're right now watching this and you're like, think of it as like your spirit is breaking free. I'm making Hootie nervous with my hands. Like there's cracks. Like what's uncomfortable is that these cracks are happening. Like your body's experiencing this earth shaking, an earthquake. And your soul is like peeping through, but like only a little bit of light. So as you continue to break the cycles, and as you continue to, take your inventory and challenge yourself and question why you do certain things, and be like, did I want to do that? And that's what it is. It becomes this internal dialogue. It becomes this process. This is a life-changing lifestyle. It's not just something you do and then you go back to how it was. I mean, once you're dedicated to this path, it's a completely new way of life, and you will never go, you can't go back to what you were before this process. And so it is a dedication. It's taking a leap of faith, and but it's a lot of recognition of what you see, what you want, what you have, where it came from, and doing that inventory. And I think recognizing that a lot of people are not going to come with you is a very important part as well. Just to be, and I've done lots of readings about that, is a lot of people are not going to dedicate themselves to this. A lot of people don't want to be uncomfortable to that degree, and that's okay. Everyone has free will, so they don't have to, and it will not impact your journey. You keep growing, you keep changing, and they'll see you. They'll see what it's done, and eventually, maybe they'll make that decision for themselves. But the only thing you can do is model it. You can't force anyone else. It's not your job to do that. And I know it can be heartbreaking because I've been there my whole life. I've had to walk away from people. I've had to end relationships. And I just, it's gotten to this point. At first, it was like I had so much resistance to letting people go. But now it's gotten to this point of like, if I don't let you go, I'm going to be pulled backwards. And I can't do that. I can't allow myself to do that. So I hope this helps. Breaking cycles is important. It is a process, and it's a dedication. So have a good one.